So you have been there. Somebody asks you a pointed question in a high stakes meeting and your mind suddenly goes blank. Now, you are good at your job, you know your stuff, but in that moment, your confidence slips. Now, let me say this upfront. It's not that you're not ready, it's just that it's a critical moment and you care to make sure that this is handled properly. And, and it is a critical moment and you must care about it. Why? Because executives don't expect you to have all the answers or the right answers all the time. But what they do care about is that you handle this ambiguity and uncertainty with aplomb and confidence. But when you have this awkward pause and when you over explain things or you hedge too much, that sends out a wrong perception about your leadership. So that is the reason it's important for you to be prepared and make sure that you handle this critical moment when somebody asks you a question and what do you do in the next instant properly. So let's shift that today. How do you do that? Well, there is a 3-step recovery tool that I'm going to share with you. This recovery tool is going to help you to be prepared for any situation like this that comes up in the future. So the first step to this 3-step process is frame what you already know. There will be things that you will already know about it. Okay. So start with that, lead with that. Number 2, set the expectations of what is to come next. What is it that you're going to do about it next is something that you can work on. And the third is anchor that as in business impact terms, right? How is it going to impact the business? What is the impact on the business? These 3 pieces of information is going to satisfy any executive in any situation. So let's have a look at one example. So for example, somebody asks you a question and you start to use this framework. The first thing that you do is by stating what you already know. So you can say something like, well, based on our assessment so far, this is what we know. Or based on the data that we have so far, this is where we are today. You can use those sentences verbatim, or once you become comfortable, you can start to use your own statements that you create. Number 2, set the expectations of what is to come next. What you can say is, for the specifics, let me just go back, connect with my team and revert to you by end of the day, right? So it sounds something like, well, based on our assessment so far or based on the data so far, this is what we know. And for the specifics, let me connect with my team and will revert to you by the end of the day today. And then the last step is connect it to the business impact, because that's what executives care most about. So you can say something like, from a delivery perspective, this doesn't pose any timeline risk. So when you put this whole thing together, instantly you can respond, and in less than 15 seconds, you'll be able to give enough information to the executive to satisfy their need. But more importantly, you will be prepared, and without that awkward pause, you'll be able to come back with a response. Sometimes in our head, we might be thinking, now this is fluff. This is like I'm trying to manipulate. No, you are not. I want you to make that shift in your mindset that you are not leading with fluff, that you are not buying time with fluff. You are holding the room with structure. In today's VUCA world, where things are dynamic and changing by the minute, it's not possible for you to have all the right answers all the time. But what you can do is to use these structures to manage expectations. But most importantly, it sends out a message to your stakeholders that you can handle uncertain and ambiguous situation with a calm and cool head. So how do you put this insight into application? Well, for your next executive meeting, write down one fallback line that you can use in case you are caught off guard with such a question. Right? So I'm weighing this situation right now, or this is what I have assessed so far. For the specifics, let me come back to you after I have connected with my team. So what you want to remember is that you don't need to fill the silence. You need to frame it. So in the end, if there's one thing that I want you to remember from this video, it is that confidence is not bravado. It is framing. You don't have to be loud. You have to be anchored. And anchored leaders, they sound something like, here's what we know. Here's what we are prioritizing. Here's how I'll get you the right answers. And the bottom line is that confidence is a muscle. You need to build it one conversation at a time. So make this week the starting point for building that muscle. Test one of these lines this week and let me know how it lands. I'll be waiting for your responses and see you next week. Until then, bye.